The diner clock ticked past midnight, its soft hum barely drowning the silence of a lonely highway night. The few customers who came by at that hour were mostly travelers, truckers, late-night workers, or wanderers with tired eyes and heavy hearts. Behind the counter, Anna wiped down the same spotless glass for the 5th time. Her blue uniform was a little faded, her hands calloused, and her eyes, though tired, still carried a spark that hadn't died even after all she'd endured. Life hadn't been kind to Anna. She once dreamed of being a chef, owning a little bakery by the beach. But dreams are fragile things when reality hits like a storm. Her husband had left her with debts, and her only son, Eli, needed medication she could barely afford. Working night shifts at this roadside diner was the only thing standing between them and losing everything. Still, Anna smiled at every customer. Not the fake kind of smile you wear to get a tip, but the kind that said, "I'm still trying." Just as she placed a fresh pot of coffee on the warmer, the sound of roaring engines shattered the calm. A group of rough-looking men in leather jackets pushed open the diner doors. Their laughter was loud, sharp, the kind that filled the room like smoke. They swaggered to a booth, slamming their helmets down and barking orders before she even got close. Anna's hands trembled slightly as she reached for her notepad. She wasn't afraid of people. She'd dealt with rude customers before. But something about their eyes felt darker, heavier. They weren't there for food. They were there to be seen, to show they could make the night bend to their mood. If you believe that kindness, respect, and second chances still matter in this world, please take a second to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Exposed Tales. These stories remind us that goodness can still stand tall, even in the darkest places. Anna forced a polite smile and asked what they'd like to order. Instead of answering, one of the men leaned back in his seat and said, "You tell us, sweetheart. What do you think we want?" The others laughed. She tried to keep her tone calm, professional, the way she'd been trained to diffuse a scene, but their words grew louder, their taunts sharper. A cup clattered to the floor, shattering. The few other customers at the diner looked away, pretending not to see. It's easy to look away when it's not your battle. Anna's throat tightened. She stepped back, whispering, "Please, I just want to do my job." That's when the door swung open again. The wind carried in the low growl of engines. Not the reckless sound of the first group, but something steadier, heavier. 6 men in worn biker vests walked in quietly. Their presence filled the room without a word. Their jackets bore a faded emblem, Iron Wolves MC. The room's energy shifted. The mocking laughter paused. The air felt dense, expectant. The tallest of the newcomers, a man with silver hair and a deep scar on his cheek, stepped forward, his boots echoing softly on the tiled floor. His eyes didn't scan the troublemakers first. They found Anna. He noticed the fear in her trembling hands, the uneaten food still clutched on her tray. "You okay, ma'am?" he asked, voice calm, almost gentle. She nodded quickly, her eyes darting to the men behind her. "I'm fine," she whispered, but she wasn't. The leader turned to the table of loud customers. "You boys done here?" One of them chuckled, standing up. "Just having a little fun. You got a problem with that, old man?" The diner went still. Even the clocks seemed to stop ticking. The silver-haired man smiled. Not the kind that comes before a fight, but the kind that says he's seen too many already. "Fun doesn't look like fear," he said quietly, "and she doesn't look like she's laughing." The group sneered, but something in the biker's eyes, calm, steady, dangerous in its peace, made their bravado falter. The Iron Wolves weren't loud. They didn't need to be. They'd earned their silence the hard way. Through wars, through pain, through brotherhood. One of the bikers walked up beside Anna, gently taking the tray from her shaking hands. "Go get some air," he said softly. "We got this." She hesitated, looking at them, strangers who owed her nothing. Her heart pounded, torn between fear and disbelief. Outside, she stood beneath the neon light of the diner sign, breathing hard. For the first time in months, she didn't feel alone. Inside, the sound of boots and chairs scraping filled the silence. Words were exchanged, quiet but heavy with meaning. Within minutes, the loud laughter was gone, replaced by the hum of the jukebox again. The troublemakers left, muttering, their pride bruised but their bodies unharmed. When Anna stepped back in, the bikers had already taken a booth. They ordered simple, coffee, pie, nothing more. The leader gave her a small smile as she poured their cups. "You handled yourself well," he said. "Take strength to stand your ground." She didn't know what to say. Her throat tightened again, but this time with gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered. "You didn't have to," he interrupted softly. "Ma'am, sometimes you help someone because you remember what it felt like to have no one." For the first time that night, Anna's eyes filled with tears she didn't have to hide. They stayed a while, chatting quietly, making sure she felt safe. Before leaving, one of them slipped an envelope under the counter, enough money to pay for her son's medication for months. They didn't wait for her to notice. They just left, engines rumbling into the night, leaving only the faint scent of leather and rain behind. When she found the envelope later, she fell to her knees behind the counter. Inside was a note. "Keep smiling. The world still needs people like you." The iron wolves, Anna cried that night, but not from fear or exhaustion. She cried because kindness had walked in when cruelty tried to win. From that night on, she started saving again. A year later, she opened her own small bakery by the coast, just like she once dreamed. She named it the Wolf's Diner, in memory of the night strangers reminded her that light still finds you, even when you've stopped looking for it. If this story touched your heart, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to Xposed Tales. Your support helps keep stories of hope and humanity alive in a world that often forgets how powerful compassion can be. And before you go, tell us in the comments, have you ever had a stranger stand up for you when you needed it most? Sometimes, the people who walk into your life for a moment can change everything forever.